What do you do when good habits go bad? That's what I'll share with you in this video. What to do when current habits or behaviors are preventing you or your organization from achieving a desired outcome. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Dawn Marie Turner, President of Turner Change Management and creator of the Readiness Mindset. Habits are our brain's way of expending the least amount of effort to accomplish the maximum amount of work that's needed to keep us alive. Our habits drive almost everything that we do all day long. And it's yours and your team's habits that will determine whether any change will stick. When we bought our current house, it came with two beautiful, although somewhat overgrown front gardens. I knew it needed to be cleaned up. But before I could do that, I needed to understand more about what was planted, its growth cycle, and how one plant supported another in this different climate. What I discovered is that I had two types of flowers growing in the garden. I had some that had been intentionally planted, like lavender, roses, and peonies. But I also had plants of opportunity. They weren't weeds, and initially they provided color and filled in some of the bare spots. But they weren't the flowers I wanted in the garden, and they had started to overtake all of the other areas, which meant there was no room for new flowers. I see the same pattern when it comes to organizational change. Think about this. How many behaviors that you have labeled as a bad habit, or maybe it's poor performance, were initially simply a behavior of opportunity? A circumstance initiated a conscious or unconscious response, which then became rooted into a pattern of behavior, a learned response. At first, the behavior serves us, like that new process that's going to ensure that the mistake that was made last week isn't repeated, or that afternoon cookie to get you through your 3:30 slump. The behavior helps us deal with the situation and regain a sense of control. However, when the situation changes and the behavior remains, then it can stop being helpful. Then that behavior that was initially helpful becomes harmful, impacting relationships, careers, work, other opportunities within your organization or for yourself. That's what happened to one new CEO that I was working with. She was struggling to get her executive and management team to make decisions. The group insisted on checking with her on almost every decision, even those that were well within their scope and responsibility. She was frustrated because the individual team members, they're smart, capable, with years of experience, yet they couldn't seem to make decisions. She also knew that that lack of decision-making was preventing the organization's growth, and she was becoming overloaded. So we began to explore the behavior and engage the leaders in a conversation to understand what was happening. Where did this behavior come from? It became clear pretty quickly that the issue was not a lack of competence. It wasn't resistance to change or their inability to make a decision. The behavior had developed in response to the previous CEO and his leadership style, because leaders and employees previously were not expected or encouraged to ask questions and make decisions. When they did demonstrate autonomy, they were often criticized. The former leader rewarded people when they followed direction and didn't ask questions. So the leaders had designed and developed policies, procedures, and habits to centralize decision-making. In the previous environment, the habit of running every decision through the CEO enabled them to work effectively. But now the environment had changed. Those behaviors were no longer working, and they were holding the executive team and the organization back. So the challenge for the CEO was to help the executive team let go of those old habits and help them develop new habits consistent with where the organization needed to go. The human brain is like a high-efficiency furnace. It's designed to use the least amount of energy and achieve the most output. It's why we form habits easily and quickly. Linda Graham, the author of Bouncing Back, states about 80% of the instructions for our behavior is recorded in our implicit memory, outside of our conscious awareness. Therefore, the first step in eliminating these bad habits or good habits gone wrong is to become aware of the unconscious beliefs that maintain them, that allowed them to grow. Once we become aware of the patterns of our thoughts and actions, we can consciously begin to design and engage in new behaviors. And that's what I did to help the CEO help her team. We worked on 3 key areas. First, I helped her become aware of how her assumptions, her beliefs, the judgment she was making about the behavior was influencing her behavior. For example, becoming frustrated when leaders came to her with decisions that she thought they should be making. She needed to let go of the idea that the leaders were resistant or incapable of making the decision and begin to build the readiness for the new behavior that she wanted them to develop. Second, we worked to develop her coaching skills, new ways of interacting with her executive team. She helped her leaders challenge their own assumptions and beliefs. She helped them trust themselves to make the decision and trust that she would support them even when things didn't turn out as she expected. And then finally, we worked with them to develop new processes, policies, the environment and the habits and the behaviors that would support and reinforce the desired outcome, to help them get comfortable with their own autonomy, with their leadership capability, develop their knowledge, their skills, and trust. Gradually, those leaders started asking more questions. They started informing the CEO about a decision instead of asking her to make the decision. They challenged each other with new ideas and offered suggestions for new ways of interacting and thinking and moving forward. By working with them from where they were, from an understanding of why and how that original behavior had been developed, what it was meant to do in the old environment, rather than just reacting to the behavior, the CEO helped them develop those new behaviors, let go of long-standing and old beliefs that were no longer serving them, and develop the new habits that were needed to move that organization forward. And that's what is needed when you're looking at performance and behaviors that are no longer serving you. Get underneath the behavior. Where did it come from? What created that behavior in the habit in the first place, and then begin to decouple it and consciously redesign a new behavior that is consistent with the outcome that you desire, whether it's for yourself or for your team. If you'd like to chat about change in your organization, reach out and let's have a conversation. And if you found this video helpful, click that like button and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.